G'day reefers, I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Welcome to Gallery Aquatica TV. Today we're at Gallery Aquatica Wynnum and we're going to be having a close look at the par on Ania's stash tank. Now Ania has the Red Sea LEDs, we've got our par meter, so we're going to be having a look at the different levels of par that different corals in this tank are receiving. Ania has got two of the Red Sea Reef LED 90s. Now the 90 is the larger of the two options for the Red Sea LEDs, the smaller being the 60. And I would certainly say from looking at the tank that the two 90s mounted on the arms, the Red Sea arms, is an ideal light configuration for this tank. You can see we've got good growth. Everything is always done really well in this tank, but we have always wanted to quantify the amount of light at each of the different levels of the tank. Now we've chosen now as the time to do this experiment with our par meter, because at the moment the tank is in what I would say is sort of the peak of the schedule. We have our blue, and with the Reef LEDs you can use the app to allow you to modify the program, and of course we have modified it, and you can see that we've got at the moment our blue channel is at 100% and our white channel is at 20%, and this is kind of the peak through the center of the day, so it's a good time for us to look at the par readings. Now the par is really just a bit of a guide to help you use it as a tool to decide where to locate certain corals in your tank. So we've marked the different heights of the tank. So starting from the top, we've got in inches 1, 2, 3, 4 down to 6 inches or 15 centimeters. We've got down here that's 12 inches from the top, and the very bottom of the tank is 48 centimeters or 19 inches. So as we go down and look at the different par levels of this tank, we'll be able to easily see exactly what depth the corals are and where the par is at that depth. Now we're going to turn the water flow off, the wave makers and the return pump, and we'll put our par meter in and start to get some readings. So we have our Apogee par meter, and we'll start with what is probably an inch under the water, and where the zoas up on this magnetic zoa rack are, so effectively 1 inch under the water, we're looking at 320. Now you probably argue that this great zone at that high par would be perfect for acros and such. It certainly would be, but the zoas are absolutely loving it. We've got some amazing color. They're pretty much directly, or pretty close to directly underneath that reef LED. So 320 to 360 sort of thing. So we'll go over to these Fireworks clavularia. Now these Fireworks clavularia are a really beautiful soft coral, and in Ania's tank they're doing so well, probably better than any other tank I've ever put them in. And so interesting to see what par they're sitting at. They're certainly directly underneath, straight down from the reef LED. So they're high 200s or 250, 260, 270. So interesting that they're enjoying a relatively high par. We'll have a look at this red scrolling Monty, and Monty of course loves a high par, and being directly underneath this LED cluster, it's actually mid 400s, so we're talking 420, 430, 440 sort of thing, which I guess that makes sense why this Monty is doing so well. It's absolutely thriving. It's going to take over this tank if we're not careful, and it's only 2 inches under the level of the water level, but it's enjoying par over 400. So let's have a look at some of these encrusting corals on this shelf here. So we've got this rainbow Monty, and this rainbow Monty is doing very, very well. And it's somewhat under the, slightly to the side of the center of the puck, but it's looking at around about 200 par. Now, I would have said 200 would have been about the minimum I would keep your rainbow Monty at. But in this case, it's growing and it's showing good color. So it's even slightly under 200. So pretty good to see how well that rainbow Monty is doing. So we've got the Leptocerus over here. We've got 3 or 4 different types of Leptocerus. I was trying to get a steady read. Okay, there we go. Turn this par meter back on. Now, because it's not directly under the light, even though it's the same height as that rainbow Monty, and I guess it's also being shaded, one of the LEDs is being shaded by this red scrolling Monty, we've actually got a par significantly less than the rainbow Monty. So we're looking at 113, pretty close to that, 110. And Leptocerus definitely like a lower light level. It's very easy to bleach them out with a high level of light. So around about that 100 is probably about where I'd normally keep them, maybe up to 150. They could probably do a little bit more, but they're really just receiving the light from that one LED on the left. So we'll have a look at the bottom of the tank and see what sort of par we're getting down here. So as we said before, this tank is 19 inches deep, 48 centimeters. And interestingly, on this side over here, we're getting 200. And I guess the reason why it was lower in this middle area with the Leptocerus is just it has to be because half of the light is being shaded by the red scroller. Maybe it's just not very direct, but we're looking at 200 on the bottom. That Rhodactis is beautiful. And given the shade from this overhang, in this sort of area over here, it drops significantly. So we're talking about, you know, as low as sort of 60 in some of these spots. And now that might explain why some of these things aren't growing so well. Let's see. So we've got this Clavularia, 140, thereabouts. The Blasto, somewhat shaded, 130. But overall, we're looking at around about the 150 in the bottom of the tank, up into the highest point, which is directly underneath the LEDs, which is at 420. And over here, 400, a little bit deeper. So you can certainly say that at the stage of the light schedule that we have these tanks on, this tank on, we've got the blue on 100% and the white on 20%. We're getting a range between 450 high in the tank and around about 200 low in the tank. There's some patches where we've got some lower amount. Underneath this ledge here on the bottom was the lowest, and where this red scrolling Monty showing Leptocerus was also quite low. But I have to say I'm very happy with the par levels of this tank, and given the fact we don't really do a lot of maintenance on this tank, I think the fact that these lights are really putting out such a good par and good color and good spectrum of light is one of the reasons why this tank is doing so well. There's certainly a degree of controversy with the use of par as a reading for your light in your aquarium, and there are many different ways that you can quantify light in your tank. So certainly we're just using this as a bit of a guide, but really it is one of the best guides that we've got to be able to see exactly where the light level is at in the tank so that it best suits the corals that we choose to put in that area. And as I said, I'm very happy with the par readings that we've got from these lights, and for me it really does sort of explain the success that this tank has had. So that's our episode of Gallery Aquatica TV for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Happy reefing. That's it for this week's episode of Gallery Aquatica TV. Don't forget to like and comment on all our videos and subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned to Gallery Aquatica TV for more exciting episodes to come. I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Happy reefing!